We are back. Thanks for staying with us, and joined in the studio now by John Hollister. John is the CEO of Imaging3 Incorporated, IGNG is a stock symbol. John, welcome back to the show.
Hey Don, always great to be here.
We're really happy to be reinitiating coverage of the company, be talking about your amazing story some more over the next several weeks. Now, we were talking about the Dominion3 device, the medical imaging device. How does it do the things that it does?
You know, it really is a remarkable breakthrough technology in that it's a fluoroscope, which in imaging, you have low radiation emitters like the fluoroscopes. The radiation source is a relatively modest amount of energy. These are the standard C-arms that you see often in surgical settings, in emergency rooms. Our device is a little different, though, in that the radiation source actually, rather than just being in two different positions. So typically a C-arm will take its first image from 12 o'clock, and then be moved over and take a second image from 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And those two views create an image. That's the standard in the practice today. The Dominion actually is different in that the radiation source travels 360 degrees in a full circle around the target, you know, your wrist, for instance. Right. And in that time, it's actually taking an image. We can adjust it, but typically every degree. So it could be 360. In fact, what we typically do is just take 180 images in 180 degrees in 1 second. Wow. And those 180 degrees those images are put through a very complicated algorithm that then assembles a three-dimensional object, and then that object is presented to us on a screen that a practitioner can look at. What's unique about what the Dominion does is it can actually present 2D like an X-ray, just an image. So if you think of the bone that everybody's seen an X-ray in their life, it's just that, but 180 of them, so that the radiologist or the physician or the nurse can look at which angle they want to see. How does the break look? How is it healing? They can do that with very low radiation in 1 second.
And what's amazing too is you can take that particular image as you described it and slice it up and change it around to look into very specific areas that you're trying to diagnose.
Exactly, and so that's what makes us so unique in that, or this device so unique, is that you can do it in 2D, as I described, or you can actually look at it in three-dimensional, so you can rotate that, and you can rotate that around, and you can also slice it like you do with a CT, so you can actually look interior. So for instance, and you can look on our website and look inside of the jaw, and there's a cavity inside of the jaw where there's bone marrow. So a physician could actually look inside, or you could rotate the head and look at the teeth from the back, which makes it a very novel product. Further, it's literally 150 pounds or so, or will be. It runs on wheels. It doesn't have to have 300 or 400 pounds of batteries that towed around, and can plug into household current. So you could imagine it in any clinic. You could imagine it in small towns where you don't have access to a CT. Remember, CTs require a big room that cost a couple of $1 million that have lead lining. This rolls around, it emits very low radiation and could be anywhere, and give a CT-like image from a fluoroscope. It could be in a little small village in sub-Saharan Africa. It could be in a Humvee in a battlefield. So if a soldier was unfortunately hit by shrapnel from an IED, you could immediately in 1 second image where exactly three-dimensionally the shrapnel is in the body.
Now, healthcare practitioners must be chomping at the bit for this thing to come on the market.
Yeah, we announced a scientific advisory board, and two incredible radiologists joined our board, and they are very active in clinics where they own the clinics, and they said there's nothing that does what this does. They want one in their clinic immediately. So hopefully sometime next year we'll be able to find one in their clinic.
Well, now, I know that you're very big on team building. Is this something that you've been doing as you accelerate towards FDA approval? Tell us about some of your team members.
Yeah, so one of the groups I hadn't spoken about, you know, there's so many potential commercial applications of this product. You know, it can be used in so many different settings. And that's a problem for us because we really need to focus on what does that final product look like and that should match what the expectations of that space, that clinic, or along the sides of a football stadium in the blue tent when an athlete gets hurt.
Right.
What product do we want to launch with? What should it look like? What, frankly, what should its capabilities be? So we've enlisted the help of a group called Halteris and Associates. They're up in the Bay Area. They are veterans of the healthcare industry, diagnostics in particular, and they do all sorts of interesting projects. And they've been doing projects, for instance, for the Gates Foundation around the world. They were so intrigued about the potential of this device in lots of the different settings. They're also intrigued by the accumulation of data that we could amass as we're doing procedures, and then learning from those. So you learn from what the device is doing. So really excited, and what they're helping us with is a commercial evaluation of which of those many opportunities are the ones we really should focus on first, which is really a critical step for us, and we hope to be able to finish that in the next couple of months.
Speaking of learning, I'm really looking forward to learning more about the company as we reinitiate coverage of the company. We'll be talking to you several times over the next few weeks. Once again, Imaging3, IGNG. John, it's a fascinating company. Thanks so much for joining us once again.
Thanks, Don. Really appreciate it.